So today's Thursday, 19th of December 2019. We're at a really hot 42 degrees right at the moment at nearly 6 o'clock in the evening. And I wanted to share some thoughts with you that I've been flirting with for quite some time after spending 20 plus years in a system that I never agreed to be part of. So firstly, I'll tell you, several years ago I was campaigning on Facebook, running a group about the child support agency here, the situation here in Australia. And I'd spoken with a case manager in regards to holding some protests right across Australia into the ACT, and getting a hell of a lot of feedback from fathers and mothers that are in my situation. And I'll apologise right now, if any strong language comes out, and if I offend any women because you feel like I'm being sexist or anything, that I don't realise that it happens to you, because I know it does. But majority of people that are subjected to this terrorist organisation, the cartel of child support agency, the majority of people are men that they pursue. And I, for one, I've had enough. They make the rules up as they go. They've been doing it for 20 plus years of my life. I don't know about you guys. And it doesn't matter how you play the game, unless you do exactly what they say to the letter. It doesn't matter whether you're right, you're wrong. You're at the whim of their discretion, how they want to play it. Now, if you don't want to listen to what I've got to say, that's fine. Just scroll on by. But I'm going to tell you the reality that I've faced in this 20 years. I was a young fella, and I was shunted in this. I had no idea what I was in for. Now, I've had the term, deadbeat father, no good father, you don't love your kids, just because I'm digging my heels in against, and I'm standing up for the corruption that's within the government. And the government agency does not make me a deadbeat father, doesn't make me not love my kids any more or any less. And I'll apologise to them right now if I bring them in any embarrassment by making this video. But this video that I'm creating is actually a gift. It's a gift to all you men, all you women that have gone through it, are going through it, or are gonna go through it. This is a gift for you, not to give up hope, not to feel useless, not to feel upset. You have every right to be, and I don't blame you. And I don't condone people not supporting their kids or anything, but when you're up against the ropes with a knife to your throat, what do? You got to fight back. Now, for many years, I'd have a job. They'd figure out where I'm working. I'd quit my job, find another job. You can't run away forever. They're going to find you. And they find you quicker and quicker because they've got access to everything. The taxation department, Centrelink, you name it. They know what you're doing. So I was going to have all these rallies, starting to get a lot of motion behind what I was achieving several years ago. And this case manager says to me, I'm going to tell you now, you shouldn't do it because you're going to embarrass your daughter. You know, like she's going to see you on the news, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it was all just so I wouldn't expose what I've been going through. You know, they played it in the heartstrings, you know. I didn't want to upset my daughter, you know. But I didn't want to go through what I was going through either. So I shut up and put up. Well, it's gotten to the stage now that I honestly don't give a fuck anymore about them. I don't care about their terrorist organisation. I've tried to call them today because they've given me a protected income of $745. You've seen me all write about it all across Facebook. You've seen me, you know, talk in text. But this is the reality behind it, you know, like they've given me a protected income of $745. That's all I can earn before they start garnishing. So my quality of life is quite limited. I'm forced to live back at my mother's house at 43 years of age. You know, she's getting on the age where she's ready to retire. It's no good for my self-esteem. It's no good for anything, you know, like it's basically depression in a bag of skin and bones. You know, I can't afford to go out. I can't afford to have my own place, my own space, because I'm dictated what I can earn and what I can take home. You know, sure, I could give up my job. I could sit there on the dole. You know, I'd rather be at work, and I'd rather be contributing, you know, doing my job. But these mongrels, they go through and they garnish everything, and, you know, they tell me I can afford to live on $745. You know, so I ring them up today because they've got a proposed estimate income that I'm, you know, that they've plucked this figure out of thin air, that I'm earning $90,000 a year. You know, I haven't seen that sort of money ever in my working career. I got close to that benchmark probably 6 years ago, more than 6 years ago, 9 years ago. And these bastards, they're going to accumulate a debt that they keep saying that I'm earning this $90,000. So this morning I made a phone call, which I rarely do, because the moment that you contact them, it's a contract between you and them. You have to communicate with them, and, you know, please sir, no sir, suck their cock and fucking, you know, do what they say. So I rang them to dispute this $90,000. And I told them that I was recording the phone call because I want to keep a record of everything for myself. And the moment that I told them that I was recording, I was told that I wasn't allowed to. That I cannot record them, but they can record every conversation that you have with them. Every government department that you call will record your phone call, and it will be used against you. So she tells me it's not allowed, I can't. So Julia puts me through to Alexandra, who is their complaints manager, and straight off the bat tells me that the conversation will be terminated unless I stop recording. And I questioned why, and I was told it was policy and procedure that they are to terminate the phone call if you're recording. So therefore the conversation went no further, and it was ended because she refused to even acknowledge that she was discriminating against me because I was recording the phone call. I didn't get nasty, I didn't get abusive. I just politely told her that I was recording my end of the conversation for my records. So this is all a bit. It's all a bit. How should I say? Nazi regime terrorist style, wouldn't you say? Like, we have to jump and ask how high, yet we can't ask any questions of them. We've got no comeback. You know, they know exactly what I'm earning because they've got the access to the taxation department records. They know, they can see fortnight in, fortnight out what I'm earning. Yeah, all of a sudden this $90,000 figure gets plucked from thin air. So I made a phone call to another government disputes area, someone who's helped me out late last year and into early this year, claiming my new start. And he told me that when they do an estimate, because you haven't contacted them, they'll pull a huge figure which triggers you to make contact with them so that they can get all updated details and what have you. And it's entrapment. They're basically baiting you so you fall into their contract with them. You know, you've got no leg to stand on in this country. If you're a male and you've been alienated from your children, they're going to take everything they can from you and give it to the criminals that are stopping you from seeing your kids. You know, in 2014, I was in the family court and my ex-wife told the family court that I was so abusive towards her that she couldn't remember what police record was for what. And when the judge subpoenaed all the evidence to prove, you know, what she was saying, and it come back that she was lying, there was no penalty. You know, like, she dirtied my name, and it turns out that she's actually living with a guy with a criminal record longer than my forearms. My kids never knew violence until she shacked up with him. You know, yet the child support agency are raping me and making me live like a second-class citizen on the brink of frickin' poverty to award someone who is psychologically abusing my children and telling them God knows what about me, you know, and forcing me out of their lives. You know, it's not easy. This life is, you know, that I'm living is not easy. It's hell. You know, I still try and get up and I still try and go through day to day, but some days the battle's being lost, you know, because there's no help. This family law inquiry, it's a facade. It's smoke and mirrors. Scott Morrison was embarrassed into calling this family law inquiry because he gave this great big speech over social media on Are You OK Day? And everyone lit up and said, no, we haven't seen our kids. You know, we're suffering. So he was obliged, you know, to make peace and save face by calling this inquiry. The minute that they show that the family courts have handed children over into the hands of abusers, people who are psychologically abusing their children in order to get financial gain, once the government wake up and find that they are behind this and they're responsible and they have the blood of hundreds of men who have taken their lives, 21 men a week in this country take their life because they've been through the family courts, or they can't see their children, or they're living on poverty because their wages are being garnished because of child support. You know, this is reality. It's not a joke. This is what's going down. And you all think that this family law inquiry, once the government find out that they're responsible, that they didn't take action, that they didn't change the laws, that they let the family courts do this, that they, left DCP unchecked and let them bloomin' investigate themselves when children are getting hurt. What do you think the government's going to do? They're going to suppress the orders like they did with the Royal Commission into child abuse, where they named and shamed several politicians because they're pedophiles. They're an organisation of terrorists that are covering themselves and protecting criminals. You guys, you got to wake up, and you got to start collaborating together and coming together. Otherwise, the battle's never going to be won. Like, each to their own and fighting amongst yourselves, and this is what they want. They don't want harmony. They don't want peace. They don't want us figuring out their plan, because their plan is to destroy the family unit. It's a $1 billion blood industry. You think they're going to give the family court up? You think they're going to give the lawyers up? You think that they're going to give child support agency up? The biggest terrorists in this country, the ones with the most blood on their hands, they're not going to give it up. You reckon that they're going to pay out all this compensation for all the hurt, the anguish that they've caused to generations of children and fathers and mothers? You think they're going to pay that out? You think they're going to admit fault? What, you think we're going to get a "we're sorry we didn't do more" day like they did for the Aboriginals? It ain't going to happen. I've got this recording telling me I can't make a recording of a conversation that I'm having with them. Yet they can record everything that you do. They can monitor everything you do. And you know what? Fuck the lot of yous. If you want to watch me and you want to come and get me, do it. Because I'm going to expose every last one of yous. I'm going to show you all the court documents. That's right. I'm going to show you all the lies. I'm going to show you the letters from the independent children's psychologist that told me that my ex-wife was putting thoughts into my kids' heads. I'm going to show you the affidavits, the fraudulent lies, the allegations. Just because my uncle was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and yes, I had depression because I'd lost my marriage and everything was falling around me. So I'm an unfit father. I'll show you the police reports where my kids were getting hit and bruises left on them. This is real fucking shit. This is a nightmare I've been living. And yet I'm still paying for that criminal that's abusing my children. I don't care about the family courts, fucking secrecy orders or anything like that. This is my reality. And I'm telling you, don't give up hope. Because it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees pleading. You know what? I found more comfort talking into several of the brothers that are going through this. You know, Scott, James, the lot of them, Don, Aaron. than I have in any government department. You know, I'm lost how I can describe the hell that I live day in, day out, not seeing my kids. You know, after 21 years, I managed to try and resurrect some sort of relationship with my eldest daughter the first time that I went through this. I'll be damned as hell if I'm going to wait another 20 years before I start doing something to expose what's going on. You know, you can all sit back and gasp and feel sorry for your situation or whatever. It ain't going to help. You know, I'll get up tomorrow when the sun rises. I'll still do my thing, you know. I'll go to work when I've got to go to work. But I'm only going to make what I need to make to survive, what I'm allowed to make, deemed by that terrorist organisation. My protest is I'm digging my heels in and I'm drawing a battle line, because this is what this is. This is now a war. A war between me and them, and, you know, they can't win. They can't take what I ain't got. And I ain't got fuck all. You've taken the lot. I'm not some conspiracy fucking nut. I'm living it. I've got the documents to prove it. You know, you all think that you can sit in your fucking ivory towers and crunch numbers and no one's going to come after you? You're dead wrong. We live in a digital age where things spread like wildfire. And if you think that I'm doing fucking, you know, defamation of character or whatever, it's the fucking truth. The evidence was subpoenaed. The evidence is in, you know, your handwriting. I've got videos from when my kids were all young and stuff. I can prove that I'm not the fucking bad guy here. My kids never knew violence until she walked away. Anyway, so back to the child support agency. You know, we label this when children are dragged away from another parent and they don't get to see them, parental alienation. It's the very definition of domestic violence. It's the very definition of child abuse. You know, it's the lowest act of a low. You made these kids together, and providing that the kids aren't being sexually assaulted or physically fucking assaulted or harmed intentionally with proof, then you've got no right to stop the other parents seeing those children. You got no right dictating any terms. What, you think that the few $1,000s that you're going to collect through child support payments is going to stop that children from wanting to know the truth? You think that's going to change the truth of the situation? You've sold your soul to the devil. Or are you the devil? Because it's a fucking pretty low fucking evil criminal demonic act to do that to your child. Someone that you pretend or state that you love. Or is it the money that you love? Wow. This world has gone to hell in a handbasket. You know, the child support agency They're a team with every other government agency here in Australia. So you split up. Let's say you split up with your fella. You've got a couple of kids. You haven't got a job, so you go to Centrelink and say, oh, look, I need the mummy pension. You know? The first thing that fucking child support, Centrelink say to you is, have you contacted child support? Well, no, I don't really want them involved. Well, I'll tell you what, we're not going to give you what you're entitled to until you get an assessment done by them. So then you ring child support, and child support want to know who the father is, you know, and the father's not been put on the birth certificate, so they want 3 possible men who could be the father. They'll organise for a DNA test. You know, it's out of your hands. You're pushed. You know, morally, it's a moral fucking thing. Do you go down that route for greed, for money? Or do you sort things out, you know, together for the best of the child? It's a fucking evil, evil system. They're terrorists. They make the rules up as they go. You know, they're plucking figures out of the thin air. So you make contact, or the payer makes contact, promising you all the things under the sun, and all they're doing is creating hate between you and the other person. So you fight harder, you know, and the money, you know. And if you're a dude that's walked in on the scene with kids involved, stay the fuck out of it. It's got nothing to do with you. Seriously. They got a mum and a dad. Let them fucking sort it out. You know, I'm going to make this video, I'm going to make it public because I've got no shame in what I'm saying, and I don't give a fuck where it goes. I want you to share it. I want it to go as far and wide as it possibly can. Because it might just help someone, save someone else's life. You know, like there's a few dudes I've sat and I've talked to early hours of the morning because they were ready to fucking sling a rope around their neck and jump from a rafter. That's how serious this shit is. I won't let you take me out like that. I won't let you take me out like that at all. God knows I tried. God knows I attempted. But you won't take me out like that. And someday, I hope my boys and my daughters, I hope they do the right thing. They don't follow in your footsteps. I hope they don't use this tyranny system. The terrorist organisation, the federal fucking government of Australia, I hope they wake up and they dig their heels in. And I hope they do the right thing for the next generation. Anyway, not that it's going to be much of a Christmas to me, but Merry Christmas to you and to yours. Until next time, keep it real.